Works 5. Jones floats it from Ingram down the sideline. He's got it. And the tight end on the run with a stiff-arm pull down quickly. The turn, the give to Coleman into the end zone. Down the team on Ingram. Jones slings it out of the backfield. This is Dion Lewis in space. Makes it. Austin Mack was in motion. That's Daniel Jones with the sneak action. Allen slits it up to the tight end. Simple.
It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. We'll never sacrifice their will. Look back on the world-class king, beyond the attack, with your wings on the wind. All the things will begin, and it's sweet.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit sick, but we're going to get through it. I'm going to try to cut out the sniffles because it's going to be very annoying hearing the entire video. I'm going to do my best, but I have some couple of points I want to mention about the Giants game. And obviously, it wasn't like how we expected. I had a feeling it would be tight. It was even tight before we had to... we had to put Colt McCoy in because of Daniel Jones' injury. And obviously, I don't think he's going to play for the next 2 weeks. That's just my prediction now. I think he's going to be out for 2 weeks and then come back against the Browns. And that's upsetting because I really wanted to see him get the revenge on Jamal Adams. Remember with the Jets last year, Jamal Adams just strip sacked him. I really wanted to see that improve. Maybe Jamal Adams got to him, but Daniel Jones juked him out, or maybe he doesn't fumble. It doesn't let up that easy, conversion. But yeah, so obviously it sucks. And Daniel Jones had a really good QBR yesterday. His passer rating was 85, but his team really let him down. Evan Ingram even dropped that one ball when he was on one leg. Evan Ingram, with that fumble, it's kind of just bad luck. That's 3 points right there. Then you take a look at Slayton. People say that was a perfect pass. I don't think it was a perfect pass. It was a little bit off, but it's one that you have to make. So that's another 7 points. The Giants left another 7 points on the board with the tipped screen. When number 91, I don't know exactly what his name was, but I know his number 91 tipped it. It felt like whoever was on the reception side of that screen, I think it might have been Wayne Gallman. They had a free shot to the end zone, and obviously the play with Dion Lewis. And I was so nervous at the end. I was in my bed. I was sick. I was just bedridden yesterday, and obviously I should be in bed right now. I just went for an hour and a half, 2 hour run. Actually, no, I went for a 2 hour run, but it's what I do every day. But I have allergies. I don't think I have COVID. But back to my actual point, I think that Daniel Jones is showing signs of optimism. Even if he has to miss every single game, I think we got to stick with him for next year. He's shown enough, I think, at this point where you'd be like, okay, let's focus on a high first round pick, on a linebacker, on a wide receiver 1 free agency, and we'll discuss more later. But I feel like he has shown enough, especially over the last 3 games. He's learning. He's getting used to this offense. I'm leaning towards keeping Jason Garrett. And speaking about coaches, Patrick Graham, I'm really nervous getting rid of him. We only let up 10 points yesterday, one of them a BS, PI call. It's a ticky-tack, can go either way. I think people have been underrating Isaac Yiadom. I told everybody, I'm like, just trust. I had faith in this guy to be successful, but Patrick Graham's calling an amazing game. Obviously, Brandon Allen isn't anything, and if Joe Burrow was in the game, we would have lost. But Patrick Graham has just been a great addition to this team, getting used to the scheme, and we didn't have to really worry about CB2 other than a couple plays against Dallas where Ryan Lewis got burned on, some good throws, but, getting sacks without O'Shane, without Lorenzo Carter, and just developing a bunch of players. And I trust his coaching staff to be able to do things and be able to adjust. Like back in the day, we used to be like, are we talented enough? Now we're like, okay, we may not be talented enough, but we have the right coaching, and it feels like we can win. It feels like we can almost eke out a game against Seattle. Take a look at it. Seattle may be in a bad spot this week. I think the Eagles are missing Zach Ertz, so the Eagles are going to score a lot of points. Seattle may be like, oh yeah, we're on top of the world. We're in first place now. They'll be in first place by a game. And be like, maybe a little bit complacent, especially on a short week. The Giants could maybe, do some things on defense, especially with the Patrick Graham-led defense. Confuse Russell Wilson maybe a little bit, have a couple of lucky plays. And the thing about Colt McCoy is he plays the other offense. He plays the opposing offense when he's in scrimmage. He doesn't play the normal Jason Garrett-led scheme. Now he has a week, first-team reps. I would presume Colt McCoy the starter the entire week and to just prepare him for the game. And he's a veteran. Just don't throw interceptions. I'm okay with a turnover or two, but ideally no turnovers. We'll talk more about that later in the week, but I'm kind of confident we could steal a game against Seattle. With Daniel Jones, he'd obviously give us a better chance, but I'm confident maybe just steal this game. And, it feels like the Giants, we need to steal a game here and there. Like the game against Dallas, the game against Tampa Bay. If we beat Tampa Bay, we'd only be a game behind them in the standings. We'd be 5-6, they'd be 6-5, and we could almost be talking about a wild card spot. Then we beat Arizona, and all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, we're talking about wild card here. And obviously, that's not what happened. We have to deal with what's going forward. So Colt McCoy, he's not going to be amazing, but he's one of the better backups in the league. He's been around for a while. I didn't know about this, but he had a devastating leg injury that he's coming back from. So he looked fairly good, but he's going to get more continuity with this team. We don't have like amazing weapons. He just be a ball distributor. It would obviously be helpful if we had a Saquon Barkley, because with him, you just hand the ball off, and 1 or 2 times a game, he will bust out a really long run, and that would help. Obviously, with Daniel Jones, you don't really need that because he is a playmaker by himself. But when you have an average quarterback, Saquon Barkley really does help. Speaking about Eli Manning, can we bring Eli Manning back for this game? Can Eli Manning just suit up and play? Like Alex Tanny, I don't care. Colin Kaepernick. I wonder how Colin Kaepernick hasn't gotten a job at this point. I'm very confused about that. I'm like, if he, with all these quarterbacks that are playing Jacksonville, I'm like, why isn't Colin Kaepernick given a chance? I was going to mention Patrick Graham. Where could he potentially be coached next year? Because obviously, if he coaches, he has to land somewhere. So here are the teams that I think are going to need a coach or / already need a coach. Lions already fired their coach. Atlanta, Jets, Texans, Chargers, Broncos, Jags, Bears, and Eagles. Let's go through this one by one. The Lions, I think their guy is Robert Saleh, so I think he's gonna be the head coach there. So I knocked that off the list. Atlanta, I think they're gonna lean towards keeping Morris, and if not, Patrick Graham could be an option for them, but I think that they're gonna lean towards Raheem Morris. These are just preliminary thoughts, by the way. The Jets, they're probably gonna keep Adam Gates. As funny as that is, and if they do bring in somebody else, you're going to want them to be kind of offensive because you're bringing in a Trevor Lawrence. You're trying to teach him a little bit, bringing in an offensive guy. The Texans, this is the biggest threat, in my opinion. Patrick Graham he's in the Bill Belichick, I guess, scheme now a little bit. There'll be probably, don't worry about Deshaun Watson. Just worry about J.J. Watt rebuilding this defense because that's really what's been their troubles. The Chargers are going to look for an offensive guy. The Broncos probably aren't going to need a coach, but that'd be interesting to see, but they're going to probably bring in a new quarterback, and Patrick Graham wouldn't really do much there. The Jags, at this point, they fired their GM, not their head coach yet. They're probably going to keep their head coach, but that'll be interesting to see what happens there. The Bears, I hear Jim Harbaugh. I think they might hire Brian Kelly. Then the Eagles are probably not firing their head coach, and in division, that would suck. I think he really likes his band of guys, and I think he really trusts them. And that's pretty much it. The one last thing I'll say is Thomas finally played against kind of bad competition. And we see, he was playing against Nick Bosa. I mean, he didn't play against Nick Bosa, but he's playing against that type of talent, Khalil Mack. Give him some confidence here, And Dave Guglielmo, early returns are good, but this Bengals defensive line wasn't that great. And I just hope that, he improves week after week. Now he's starting to settle down a little bit. We play against Seattle, who aren't world beaters, but they have some somewhat talented players. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. Again, we'll discuss more later in the week. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.